quick plans. Margarita's going to do the welcome. Pass it over to Ms. Dolores, and we're gonna start. Thank you.
Great. Great.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for NKCDC's virtual health hour with the community health workers. Our first speaker will be Ms. Dolores.
Good afternoon, all. And I would just want to thank the panel for joining us this afternoon and taking the time to come here. And we're going to get started. And the first question is, and when this question, you don't have to tell the charges that you were sent to prison for, you can just tell how you got there. And that's the first question, that point in your life that led you to incarceration. We can start with the young lady has Dell. Is that your name, Ms. Dell? Hi. Did you hear the question?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's
how are you?
Ivy.
Ivory, okay. How you doing?
I don't know why it says Dell.
Is it a Dell computer?
Yeah, but my name's Ivy.
Hi, Ms. Ivory. The first question is, how did you get there? What point in your life led to the incarceration? And we ask that you don't disclose, the charges and anything like that.
Well, many things led to my incarceration. Drug addiction, trauma, low self-esteem, abuse. Many paths led me there. Anger issues, abandonment issues. The list goes on and on.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ivory. Next is Miss, I think, is she still here? Let me see if she's still here. Latanya? Thank you, Ms. Ivory.
You're welcome.
Are you talking to Altanya?
Tanya. Hi.
Hi, how are you? How's
I'm good.
What led me to incarceration? Like Ms. Ivy was saying, it was a multitude of things, but the biggest thing was poor impulse control and anger management. A bunch of pent up anger and rage from a life filled with trauma and abuse, and not knowing how to manage or deal with it. No one taught me how to deal with what I was experiencing throughout my whole entire youth. I was homeless as a teenager. I was going to high school and I had nowhere to live. So no one told me how to deal with those types of things. I had no one to talk to, and I had no one to mentor me or guide me. My parents were absent; they were doing their own thing, and I was left, to raise my siblings. So, it was very hard and difficult. And by the time I got into my 20s, I actually got arrested when I was 30, and it was just a pileup of all that stuff. And I just, didn't have the proper tools to manage my thoughts and my feelings. So, yeah, that definitely is what led me to incarceration.
Thank you for sharing. I'm not sure if the other guests have arrived. I don't see them. So I'm going to call on Miss Margarita, if that's okay.
Mr. Louis Soto is.
Excuse me?
Mr. Soto, Louis Soto.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mr. Soto.
How you doing, Ms. Dolores?
I'm good, and you? Good to have you here today.
Thank you. So I can answer?
Yes, you can, please.
Yeah. So I go add to what the ladies shared before me on the same thing, but also I go say my lifestyle. That was more about my lifestyle. Like I was so used to it to live that life on the street, on selling drugs, and that was for me. I can say it like that. I'm very transparent. With my story. So lifestyle. Then I became my best customer. So then there was not just lifestyle, there was the use and I just don't care. Police catch me. That was the best thing that happened to me, to pick me out of the street and put me in the cell hole, for a few months or years. So I don't know. I gonna say those two lifestyles and the active addiction.
Thank you so much. Is our other guest here, Ms. Gwen?
We have three, Ivy, Altona, and Mr. Soto. They are our three guests today.
Okay. Can we ask Ms. Margarita to fill in, if she don't mind?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, what happened with me was well, pretty much I had a pretty good like childhood and stuff like that. But then when my mother passed away, I was like, that was like all I knew. She was my best friend. I'm an only child, so I depended on her a lot. And when she passed away, things became very desperate, and I had two small children. I didn't know exactly what to do, so I ended up around the wrong crowd of people that showed me the wrong thing, the wrong way of living, put it that way. And that's what dragged me into the street. I made the wrong decision, and thanks to the getting caught, it changed my whole life around.
Thank you, Ms. Margarita, for sharing.
Sure.
And number two, we're going to go back to Ms. Ivory. Did you have a plan of action and or resources available to you upon release?
I did, but it all failed. I have to say this. I was incarcerated for 18 and a quarter years. So all the plans I made for coming home, I really didn't know what I was working with.
Okay.
You understand what I didn't understand how important technology had become and how to navigate that whole thing. Because I was incarcerated for so long, what was something so simple and normal to me going to jail was SEPTA. When I came home, I was getting disorientated and didn't know how to navigate through the city. I had to reacculate myself with doing even fundamental things. So although I had made these plans and I wanted to do this and wanted to do that, I had to start all over like a baby.
Okay.
So what I did do, God is good. I ran across this little teeny weeny something somewhere that said, Mothers in Charge. So I went to Mothers in Charge and I sat there. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Miss Dorothy at Mothers in Charge.
Yes.
And I went there and she sent me they allowed me to come in their program and they sent me to another program. And at this program, I learned about me.
Okay.
Because that's the first thing I needed to learn was me.
Right.
Because although you have all this time in jail, you're doing so many other things that you get away from you. It did for me anyway. And I got to know me because I was introduced to something called trauma awareness.
Okay.
And trauma awareness enlightened me so much as to why when this happened did I respond this way, and why I was so angry and holding on to the anger like it was a security blanket, and how I could reach a point in my life that I would get so angry that I would actually take someone else's life. Trauma awareness was my be all, say all, know all about me. So once I did that, I could let down some walls I had. Nadine knows that in jail I look nothing like I look now. I had been raped, so I decided I didn't want to be feminine anymore. So in jail I looked a little bit more like Mr. Soda, you know. But when I came home and I healed, I could be me now.
Amen.
Now I can make plans. Now I can lay a foundation for the rest of my life because I'm comfortable with me.
Thank you, Ms. Ivy, for sharing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, Ms. Altuna. You can answer that question, please.
Tanya is just fine.
Okay, Tanya.
Yeah, having resources coming home. I spent a very short period of time in jail. Thankfully to God. I was facing 25 years, and the judge saw fit that I just walked that time off and only spend a year to 2 years in jail. And you know, I had to make a decision whether or not what I was going to do when I got released. You know, I had to become aware of the fact that it didn't matter if I had a degree. It didn't matter that I worked in social services at that time for over 10 years. I knew that when I got out, all they was going to look at was 1013820 and not Altanya Shepherd. So I had to make a decision because I knew that if I did not confront the things that were going on in my life, that the minute I left out those doors, I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was coming right back. I knew that. And so I had to make that decision. And I made the conscious decision that to work on me while I was there. There wasn't a bunch of resources in the jail. And the ones that were there were quite honestly crappy. They're not there to help anyone transform their life. They're not there to teach anyone any tools that's going to carry them while they're being after they're released. So I had to make a conscious decision to, you know, to confront those things on my own and to deal with those things. And thankfully, there was a counselor there that helped me out with that process. And when I got home, he extended that support. Him and his wife did. So him and his wife did. But you know, it was a difficult transition inside because you're in these four confounded on this one particular unit. And, you know, it's like life is coming at you in there. And then you're worrying about what's going on outside. I got no visits while I was there. No one wrote me, sent me anything, nothing. So it was pretty much like it was for me when I was home, doing everything on my own, taking care of everybody else, but no one was there to help me or take care of me. So it was those types of things that I had to learn how to deal with. Now, what am I going to do when I leave here? What am I going to do differently than I did before that led me here in the first place? Like I had to really figure out all of those things. I remember writing when I was confronting my anger. I said, I'm gonna write down everything that takes me from 0 to 1,000 in 2 seconds. And I wrote a list of 189 things that took me from 0 to 1,000 in a couple of seconds. And this was over, I came up with this list overnight. And when I looked at that, that was disturbing to me because it was like, how can all these things possibly take you from 0 to 1,000 in 2 seconds. That don't even make any sense. And when I read some of the things that was on there, it was like, this is silly, because somebody is staring at me. You know, it was, I had to rethink how I thought about that. But what if somebody was just admiring my hair or liked my outfit? I don't know, but I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as, you're staring at me, so you must have a problem. So now I got a problem. So I had to retrain how I thought about certain situations and how I approached those situations and responded to those situations, so I can then change my actions. And, you know, and the things that I came up with doing something different, some of the things didn't make sense. Doing 100 jumping jacks, which never worked for me. You know, walking in circles, which did work for me. Like, I would just write down anything, whether it made sense or not, just as long as I was doing something different than what I was used to doing. So that was what prepared me to come out when I was being on release, because, like I said, I had to walk off. Instead of me getting that 25 years, I had to walk it off. So I knew that I had to be tight and right, or I was coming right back. So and it was really hard when I came home. You know, there was a couple situations that could have sent me right back to jail, and it was so hard for me to stay calm and reserved. Like, I mean, there were days when I was in a panic because I wanted to lash out, but I knew that I couldn't lash out. And I would pull out, I had a sheet of paper that had scriptures on it and the different things I could do. And I would just pull that paper out of my pocket and just read it. I didn't care where I was at. I didn't care how silly I looked like. I knew why I was doing it for me. No one had to walk in my shoes but me. And I wasn't doing that 18 years that I had to walk off with nobody. So I had to keep that in mind. So the transition was hard, but I knew, like I said, I set things out in my mind already. I knew I had to expect to hear no's when I came home. People are not going to want to hire me in social services with what I got charged with and convicted for. They were not going to want to hire me. I knew that. So I had to acknowledge that, and I had to be okay with that. And I had to create a plan for myself that was going to get people to see Altanya and not my PP number or my record. When I came home, I remember applying for this job, and I interviewed from that job from 9 in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening, because I met with every supervisor, every director, all the way up to the president of the organization. They wanted to hire me because of my background, my skill set, but they couldn't get past my record. So, that experience didn't upset me, but what it taught me was that I was still valuable. So, and I still had a purpose. So that's what that experience taught me.
Well, we thank you for sharing that, but we're going to move on. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Soto, if you want to answer that question, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. For me, I gotta say my first 8 years that I did upstate. I went up to 1996, and then 1997 I went to this new prison upstate, and there was not a lot of programs. I gotta admit that there was not a lot of resource. But I do know now the resource that they will had that moment, that time. Now with the kind of mentality that I am today, thank God for that. That was useful for me to make some change. What happened was that I was not ready. You see, I went to school for my ESL class, English Second Language. I graduated. I was assistant teacher on that class. I got also my GD, even on English and Spanish, and I passed both of them. And I was doing very good, But then when they started giving me hit after hit, without me getting in trouble, my mentality went back to the lifestyle that I know how to live in the street. I did the same thing in jail. Then, and the last minute they let me go. Then I went back to another prison upstate, and I did the last 3 years. That's when I really got tired or been tired, and I started using the resource. I was already broke. Like, I'm tired. I had to do some change, and thank God there was on my late 30s, but listen, I did it. I used some of those resources that they gave me. One of them was that I remember today, and I'm proud to say that, Narcotics Anonymous, I go mention it. And that was one of the biggest reasons that I had, to come out and make meetings. And then I connected with other people that was already doing something and used to go to that prison. And I use those resources through my journey, and still those resources that I used in the beginning, and still after 10 years, or now clean, and working and be out of trouble, finish my parole and other stuff. Now I still use it and provide maybe the same resources or new resources from there to other people that coming out from prison. So I just have to say that was up to me, what kind of mentality I had by that moment to make those change and use those resources.
Thank you. Do you
You're
want to
welcome.
share the resources that you used?
Well, one of the reasons was, like I say, I go say the first of all, my personal recovery. So like I say, I mentioned it, I'm a member, so people that go in jail, not everybody got drug use, but they got lifestyle. So on workforce, on GED education, trades, they have some peer support group, that they still, most of all the stuff that they doing today in the street, they now doing it in prison, and I don't have the list with me now, but it's a lot of them, that still, it can be, they very, very valuable to many people.
Thank you, Mr. Soto.
You're welcome.
Miss Margarita, if you don't mind sharing,
Sure.
answering that question. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. As for me, I noticed that like now I'm starting to learn all the resources and stuff because I didn't spend a lot of time in jail. It was only about like 2 weeks. Then I got bailed out, and then I fought, the case from home. But in there, the 2 weeks that I was in there, it was terrible. And coming out, I didn't get. I was trying to find resources while I was there. There was really no help. Coming out, I didn't have any help neither. Just, I had family support, but not like support through my probation officer. Like she told me she was going to have my back for anything. I was going through a lot, actually. I came to learn a lot more maybe about a year ago. I started doing some deeper research and stuff. And then I came across New Kensington, who've been also helping me like with expungement and the pardon situation. So yeah, and I've ran into a lot. Like I've lost good jobs, been on interviews and everything. And just because I have that in my background, it makes it hard for me to do what I got to, to try to get what I have to get. But thanks to New Kensington for allowing me to transition and showing me the way, giving me the resources that I do need that I didn't see anywhere else.
Thank you, Miss Margarita.
Sure.
Thank you. And we thank New Kensington also of giving second chances. And with a lot of nonprofit organizations, they do believe in giving second chances to people in the community. And that's a good resource to get connected with your local nonprofit organization. Thank you.
Problem.
Question number 4. Did you have family, children, and spouse that you had to reconnect back together or gain custody like of the children? And since you up, Ms. Margarita, we can just go with you if you don't mind. Thank you.
Well, I had a lot of family support. So like my mom, she passed away right, like I said, prior to the situation. But my grandmother lives like right next door to me. And then my uncle, my mom's brother, they always been there for me. I've had a lot of support that way, but I did have issues where I I was going through hard times, you know, and I had to get my uncle to help me with my situation with the kids. And thank God he has been like one of my biggest support, him and his wife and my grandmother. But if it wasn't for them, I probably would have been in a deeper, worser situation with the children. But thanks to them being there, they were able to help me and support me, and I didn't have to go through the entire court process and all that, you know.
So your children were able to remain with kinship during the time you were away? Okay.
Yes, they were able, but thank God, stay with family. They didn't have to go through the process of being, you know, lost in the system or anything, you know. And all that's closed and everything. We, you know, all that's taken care of, but it was a long process.
Thank you, Miss Margarita. Ms.
Sure.
Ivory, if you want to answer that question, please.
No, ma'am, I didn't have any children.
Okay. Well, what about connecting with family?
My siblings, I had to reconnect with them because I didn't have much contact with them while I was away. So probably my sister and my brother. And I actually paroled from the halfway house to my brother's house, and my brother got drunk and put me out. So, which brings me to the real struggle with coming home, housing. Like a lot of people focus on job. I think it was easier for me to find a job than housing. Housing is a struggle. Like people don't want to rent to you if you're on parole or ex-offender, because a lot of people on parole abscond and then the police break down your door, you know, so that has a bad stigma behind it. So a lot of times people with renters run a background check, or you have to tell them you're on parole because they have to sign a paper saying they know you're on parole. So you have to tell them, you know, so finding housing is a struggle. You know,
Did you were able to reconnect with any girlfriend relationship, childhood friendships, or anything like that?
Yes, 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 yes. Still have friends from when I was 5 years old. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. In fact, God is good. I'm telling y'all, God is good. I just got a chance to spend some time with a good friend of mine who was my neighbor, and we became friends and we more like family. We're the kind of neighbors where you didn't know who lived in what house because you run back and forth at each other's house. And she lost her husband. And they were together for 41 years. And me, my mother, and my sister went out to Lancaster on Saturday to show her some support. You know, and she has been my friend for a number of years. And I was honored and privileged to be able to do that. So yeah, I'll connect with some friends.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory.
Yes.
Ms. Tanya, could you like to answer that question, please?
No children, but I do have at the time I was engaged and I was raising my fiance's son.
Can you just speak up a little bit?
I'm sorry. At the time I was engaged and my fiance at the time had a son, and I was helping to raise him because he was in prison doing 10 to 25 years. And then I got arrested. So I just recently, a few months ago, got reconnected with my son as I raised him from 5 to 14. So that's been beautiful. I got grandkids now and everything. Oh my gosh. But as far as coming home and having that family support, didn't exist. It didn't exist before and it didn't exist when I got out. But I did recognize that the family is just the family that I have is just through genetics, and that God had put a mother in my life. He put sisters in my life. He put brothers in my life. He put aunts in my life. And you know, I have friendships that I carried from jail right out into the street, and we're still friends. And I've been home almost 15 years now. So, and I still have those friendships. So, that was the family that I had. The people that supported me and encouraged me throughout my journey it was my support system.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tanya. Mr. Soto?
Yes, I got a son. He's 29 years old. He gonna be 30 years old next month. On God's will. Um, and yes, we got a good relationship. Thank God. You know that he forgave me. And I have to say that he just see my walking and not my talking, because I also was talking, never change. So, and yes, I got a big family. I'm a family from seven six brothers. And I am the third younger, all of them. But my family always was there for me, even when I was on my bed. Like, I think so. That was not because I still did harm. I still did a lot of damage emotionally, mentally, and physically as well. I did. But they also opened the door for me. But I decided to better be in the street. But when I came out, and especially now I thank God, because I think so, like, it's like never, like nothing bad happened, like never, like we are close. And those that are like in Puerto Rico or New York, we still communicate through the social media, or the phone, and they very proud of me. So I don't know. I don't like to talk that much about that, because I understand that a lot of people don't have that blessing, or they don't have family or whatever. That's why that's kind of touchy and touch me. But that's part of my story. So that's part of my life. But so I'm blessed. I'm grateful.
Yes, you are. Thank you, Mr. Soto.
You're welcome.
You can just stay right there on the fifth question. What advice would you like to leave with this audience today?
Well, particular this everybody in particular. So well, listen, I know that it's a lot of struggling. Hopefully what we see yesterday and heard yesterday, hopefully that brings some change, and for us, as a community, everywhere, but he you struggling personally, you have to reach out. You have to reach out for somebody. Don't try to do it on your own. Especially if you already tried something and haven't worked. Maybe you have to try something different. But I just let you know that you're not by yourself. And believe me, where I came from what I came from is the same place that I'm going back today, because God take me back there to help other people just like me, like I used to be. So you're not alone. If you pray, keep praying, and keep praying for me also, because I need it.
Mhm.
Because I go be praying for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the word of encouragement. Ms. Tanya?
I would say stay driven and stay focused, and have a support system, no matter who that may include in your support system. Support is going to be so key with any transition in life. Um, so having that support system, whether it's family, friends, mentors. I have 4 mentors. Mentors, and getting busy. Um, you know, getting active, getting busy, volunteer some places, let people know who you are, let people know what your desires are, what your goals are, what your dreams are, and search out for people that can help you reach your goals, and desires of what you want to do in life. I say what would be like key points to remember and to hold on to.
Thank you. Did you want to add something else?
I did,
Go ahead.
but I know I could be long-winded. I know
Go
I could be
ahead.
very long-winded.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
Take your time.
I would also say everything that you do, every word that you speak, and every action that you take starts with a thought first. We must be aware of the thoughts that we have in our head. A lot of times, the stories we tell ourselves about the experiences that we're having or the things that we're going through are not true. You might be going through something and then you thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough or I can't. Well, guess what? Those thoughts are lies, because you can. And you can accomplish anything you want. Sometimes it just takes some patience. Sometimes it just takes relearning some things. Sometimes it just takes getting some support. But we have to be mindful of the things that we're thinking about, how we're thinking about the situations and experiences that we're having, because they affect our decisions, and our decisions affect every area of our life, and everything else around us. So we have to be very mindful of what we're thinking.
You finished, Ms. Tanya?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Ivory.
I want to say, people always say to me, Ivy, you strong, you did all that time. And I always tell them, I'm not strong because I did all that time, because once I committed my crime, I really didn't have an option. I couldn't opt out of my sentence. I had to do it. That's not what makes me strong. What makes me strong is I don't quit, ever. I don't care what obstacle, what hurdle, whatever gets in your way. Don't quit. Don't give up. If I got to go on Facebook and ask for help, if I got to Google it, I don't even know how I got to do my childhood without Google and YouTube, because I depend on it now. If I got to Google it, YouTube it, I will stand on the street corner. Excuse me, sir, can you help me with this? I will ask for help. That's new for me. That's new for me. That's me doing something different, because I would not do something rather than ask somebody for help. I am an advocate of asking for aid and assistance. That's why Nadine called me and said, Ivy, help me. I'm going to help her. That's how this thing works. You help me, I help her, she help him, and we all win. Because we can't do this by ourselves. It's too much.
Yes.
We need each other. It's the chain. It's the link. That's the way we make it. That's the way we survive. That's the way we win. We hold each other's hand and we go forward. We pray to God and He make a way with us together. And I want to lead the group with that.
Thank you. Don't go nowhere. Miss Margarita, please, if you can share. You ready to share, Gwen? Miss Gwen?
Yes, Ms. Dolores.
You ready to share?
No, I'm fine. Y'all got it.
Okay, you put your picture up there. Okay. Miss Margarita.
Yeah, just stay positive, believe in God, trust God, have faith, because I pray, because it helped me a lot. Reach out if you need help. Really do that. It does help a lot. Reaching out to someone, especially like if you just need a vent or just for any kind of help or anything. It's always good to reach out and in a positive way and try to stay focused and do the right things in life so that you can prosper.
Thank you, Miss Margarita. Miss Tanya has a couple of slides she would like to show on things that have helped her during the years. So Miss Tanya, can you put them up and share?
I mute myself. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to just really four slides of just some things that help me. And these are things that I teach my clients and I have taught my clients over the years. So I'm just going to define what goals are and just go over some ideas, some methods, and some tools that can be used for daily life. So here we go. Goals is just what one intends to accomplish or attain. I think it's important to define sometimes the words that we speak so we can have a clear understanding of what it is that we're talking about. I know sometimes I say things and I'm like, you know what? Let me go look this up to see what I'm talking about, see what I'm saying, because words are very powerful. So it's important to know the meaning of the things that we're saying, so we know what we're speaking into our lives. So I'm going to have to minimize this some kind of way so I can see. Okay, so goals are not always easy to accomplish or attain. The journey can be rough. It's not the things that we experience that creates barriers, but how we respond to them. And that's what all the panelists were talking about today. Responding to things differently, doing something different. So it's just a formula that I want people to remember is experience plus response equals outcome, or E plus R equals O. So we have to remember that it's not what we go through, but how we respond to what we're going through, and that our power always lies in our responses. We think that the event creates the power. We think the event has the control over our lives, but it's us. We have the power and the control over our lives, and it's how we respond to what's going on with us that creates an outcome. Secondly, we must remember that we are 100% responsible for our thoughts, our words, actions, and behaviors. Nothing else. Sometimes we think we're responsible for, what someone else did or what someone else said, and we allow what people do and say to affect how we think, how we feel, what we do, and what we say. So we have to remember that we have no control over what anyone else says, what they do. We have no control how they treat us, the things they say to us. We have no control over that because we can't jump into their body and say, okay, don't say that. Don't say that to our time. She's not going to like that. We have no control over that. However, we do have control over how we respond to what someone says to us, how we respond to the things someone does to us. We do have 100% control over that. We have control over our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our behaviors, and nothing else. And when we get that cleared up and situated, and once we have an understanding of that, we experience something, we respond to it, and do we have an outcome? Now, if we don't like the outcome that we get, then we can just do something different to get a different outcome. So, say for instance, if I'm gonna go back to using that little example I used when someone was staring at me. So before, when someone would stare at me, I would have thoughts like, they must don't like me, they must have a problem. So my new response to that can be, well, maybe they're admiring my hair. So now my new outcome would be, oh, now I got a smile on my face instead of being angry, which would have been the outcome of me thinking about them not liking me or they have a problem with me, because now I'm gonna get messed up and peed off, and now I'm ready to fight. And that's not the outcome that I want. So when we don't get the outcomes that we want, let's check our responses, do something different, and we'll get a different outcome. Again, these are things that people have been echoing throughout the panel today. The 3 R's. So negative thoughts just brings on a bunch of stress and frustration. So if we can just remember the 3 R's, resist, reevaluate, and reset. So resisting just means pause. Just taking a moment to becoming aware of your thoughts, becoming aware of those self-defeating track that you're on. Meditate, do some yoga, deep breathing. I do this thing, it's called tapping. And it's the most amazing thing I've ever learned. Because it really gets me recentered and gives me a moment to readjust my thinking. Reevaluate your thoughts. Check the story you're telling yourself. Our thoughts create stories. When something happens, we tell ourselves a story. Just like I told myself a story about somebody staring at me. They must don't like me. That's the story I told myself. But was that really true? So we must check the stories that we're telling ourselves and ask ourselves, is that really true? Or am I blowing this out of proportion? Or is this just me projecting something onto the situation that doesn't exist? Once you do that, just then reset. You can replace those self-defeating thoughts with better ones, with affirming ones. Well, I can do this. Well, maybe she just admired my hair. Well, I thank you. Now I have a smile on my face. Or I am able to achieve this goal. Our self-defeating thoughts prevents us from accomplishing goals, having stable relationships, but it also prevents us from being everything we were created and called to be. So we have to remember that those self-defeating thoughts, they're not true. They're lies. You have the ability and capabilities to achieve and be anything you desire. And we have to keep those types of things in mind. So as I said, the defeating thoughts are draining and produces barriers, frustration, stress, and being stuck. So incorporating daily tasks or activities in your life, like fun and laughing, can be very helpful. One of the things that I do is sometimes I'll just watch cartoons and just laugh the whole entire day. And that will just help me not only decompress, but it helps me to stay what I call, like to say, even. It keeps me even, where I'm not on a low, when I'm not on a low, or I'm not on a high. I'm just even. It gave me a chance to just relax. It gave me a chance to just readjust, and it gave me a chance to woosah, so I can get focused back on whatever my goals are. So, incorporating de-stressing activities is very, 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 very important. Otherwise, the stresses can just pile up and pile up and pile up. And next thing you know, you're like a keg ready to explode. So we don't want that. So inner greatness. I talk about inner greatness because I believe that we all are different. We all have gifts, talents, and abilities that no one on this planet has but you. You are unique. You are designed and created for a purpose. And you have exactly everything that you need to accomplish your goals, to pursue your dreams. Sometimes we don't feel that way, or experiencing trauma, or experiencing letdowns, or experiencing a bunch of disappointments can have us feeling something different or thinking something different about ourselves. But we have to remember that everything that we need to be, everything that we were designed to be, we have within us. We just have to tap into it. So inner greatness, I like to define it as the bringing forth of worthiness and excellence despite pressures and challenges, because that's just what it is. When things are feeling like it's coming up around you and you're starting to feel closed in, or you're feeling like, oh, why me, or not another thing, it is those experiences that brings out our joy, that brings out our strength, that brings out our courage, that brings out our patience, our determination. Those experiences are designed to do just that, to bring those awesome and great and unique qualities about us that's within us out. So if we look at pressures and challenges as not things that are barriers, but things that are going to help me to be developed and to bring forth the best me possible, then we can get through those pressures and those challenges a lot easier. The key phrase for the day that everyone was saying was, do not give up. That should say, don't give up, not do give up. That should say, don't give up. Do not give up. You must add diligence, patience, and have room for mistakes. Because guess what? You're going to make mistakes. Mistakes is going to happen. Everyone doesn't know everything. But you don't have to beat yourself up about making those mistakes. Mistakes are just opportunities to relearn something, to gain new knowledge about something, to gain a better understanding, to gain some wisdom about something, and to move forward. But we must have diligence. You can't stop. You got to keep moving forward, keep pressing forward, and you have to be patient, because things are not going to transpire overnight. When you're taking actions towards your goals, even 1% action is better than no action at all. I'm in the process of establishing 2 other businesses, and I have a community nonprofit that I've had since 2010. So there were times where I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like none of this foolishness today. I'm not doing anything. And I just kept the 1% in my mind. If I just do 1% towards my goals, I don't have to try to take care of the whole pie today. Just 1%. It can just be checking an email, sending an email. At least I did something towards what I'm trying to accomplish or achieve. It's better than doing nothing at all, because it'll never get accomplished or achieved if you do nothing at all. Take a break, reset, realign when needed and necessary. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, I need a timeout. It's okay to realign yourself with what you're passionate about and what your purpose is. Sometimes we get off track. Everyone gets off track from time to time, and it's okay. Just take a break, reset yourself, and then realign yourself with your goals. And when you're realigning yourself, seek out those things that's going to help you to stay realigned, or stay aligned, I should say. Seek out support. So surround yourself with people and activities that's going to pour love and support onto you and into you. That's going to be honest with you, and it's going to be encouraging to you, because those things is what important. Those are the things that will keep you grounded. Those are the things that will keep you focused and keep you feeling like you can accomplish your goals. It's going to help you to stay encouraged and motivated and steadfast. I believe this is the last slide. I hope that this was informative for you guys, that you take away with some tools and some ideas that can help you along your journeys in everyday life. I do these things, consistently in my life. As I told you, we're building a whole platform, teaching people this material. So we're in the midst of doing that now, but if you want to get on our emailing list so you can get inspirational emails from us, then this is where you go. Support at poweredupsolutionsforthesoul.com. Just say, I want to sign up for your email list, and we'll start sending you out inspirational quotes and things of that nature. Thank you for allowing me to share this.
Thank you, Ms. Tanya. And I love the last statement in the last slide. Surround yourself with people or activity that pour love, support, honesty, and encouragement into you. And that's so important. So with that being said, we're going to have our final speaker, Gwen. And she's just
trying to figure out how to. There we go. I found it.
She just pours a lot, and she's special.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate her. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Dolores.
You're welcome.
First of all, I would like to thank our guests, Ms. Ivy, Ms. Altuna, and Mr. Lewis, and of course, our very own Margarita. Thank you all for speaking. Today was great. I didn't get on and share a lot, but I do have some key points for you guys to take with you. Just know that don't never think that you can't go nowhere because you have that record. You can be one place in 1 minute, and you could come outside of that from that record, and you can be in a total different light of your life. A quick synopsis. I came home, chased all the trainings, thank you to my pastor and God. And then I was able to obtain a position through a work training through NKCDC. My position has been for the last almost 2 years, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. So don't allow your past to determine your future. So just know that in all that you do, that despite of what you may have did in the past, God don't judge you for that. He will make sure you get a way through it. So just keep going, and you will be okay. And as I always say with everybody, teamwork make the dream work. We all are sisters and brothers of some way, and if we all reach out to each other, we can all have each other back. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. I, again, would like to thank the panel. I'd like to thank my team, the community health workers. Without them, we couldn't make it possible. A lot of them are in the back, making sure we stay on schedule. They do a lot of different things. So it's a puzzle, and we all bring it together. And like they say, we are a dream team, and thank you, New Kensington, for giving us the opportunity and the
Yes.
community. And next month we'll have another virtual health hour, The Heart Matters. So we're going to post some flyers. You can go look at our resources on New Kensington CDC website, Facebook, follow us. We have a lot of great things coming that are going on. Call up. We're still open and doing great thing, housing, LIHEAP programs. So check us out, okay? Thank you, and everybody have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.